Quintillus was a short-lived and largely obscure emperor of the Roman Empire, serving as the 46th in the year 270 AD. His reign, though brief, forms part of the complex and turbulent period of the Roman Empire known as the crisis of the 3rd century, a time marked by political instability, military turmoil, and economic crises. Quintillus was likely born in the early to mid-3rd century, possibly in the region of Moesia, modern-day Balkans, although details about his early life are scarce. His full name was Marcus Aurelius Claudius Quintillus, and it is believed that he was either the brother or possibly the close relative of Emperor Claudius II Gothicus, who ruled from 268 to 270 AD. Claudius II had gained renown for his military campaigns, particularly in the fight against the Goths. After his death in early 270 AD, likely due to illness, possibly the plague, Quintillus emerged as a candidate for the throne. At the time of Claudius II's death, the Roman Empire was in the throes of the aforementioned crisis of the 3rd century, during which the empire was frequently plagued by military defeats, economic challenges, and internal strife. The imperial throne was often contested, and the military, rather than the Senate or the people, held significant sway in determining the emperor. Following Claudius II's death, Quintillus, who had been serving as a military officer, probably hoped to carry on his brother's legacy, stepping forward as a candidate to assume power. Quintillus's reign is shrouded in mystery due to the scarcity of sources from that period. It is known that he ruled for a very short time, perhaps only a few months, in 270 AD. His claim to the throne was contested from the very start, as the Roman military and provincial leadership were fragmented and numerous rivals sought control of the empire. One of the main challenges to Quintillus's rule came from the popular general Aurelian, who was stationed on the Danube frontier and was involved in campaigns against the Goths. Aurelian's successes in the field had made him a strong candidate for the imperial throne, and he was declared emperor by his troops around the same time Quintillus took power in Rome. The military factions split in loyalty between these two candidates, and the struggle between them was more or less decided by the military. Aurelian's forces quickly gained the upper hand, and it is believed that Quintillus was unable to marshal sufficient support within the empire or the military to sustain his claim. It is likely that Quintillus's reign was undermined by his lack of broad political or military backing, as well as his failure to offer a strong solution to the empire's pressing issues. Quintillus's reign ended abruptly, and the circumstances surrounding his death are unclear. Some sources suggest that he may have been murdered, either as a result of an assassination ordered by his rival Aurelian, or by his own soldiers in a bid to secure Aurelian's reign. Other accounts suggest that he might have committed suicide, driven by despair at his inability to maintain power. Whatever the cause, Quintillus's death marked the end of his brief time as emperor. After Quintillus's death, Aurelian, who had by now gained widespread support, ascended to the throne without further opposition. Aurelian would go on to become one of the most successful and reformist emperors of the 3rd century. His reign is best remembered for his military victories, the reunification of the empire, and his efforts at administrative and monetary reform. Although Quintillus's reign was insignificant in terms of lasting political or military achievements, his brief attempt to seize power illustrates the political instability of the time. It also highlights the fact that the 3rd century Roman Empire was characterized by a rapid turnover of emperors, often due to military challenges, internal strife, and the sheer volatility of imperial succession. Quintillus is a largely forgotten figure in Roman history, and there are few remnants of his reign. His brief and unsuccessful tenure on the throne means that he left little in terms of policy, reforms, or military campaigns. Unlike his brother Claudius II, who is remembered for his military successes, Quintillus's legacy is one of fleeting power and failure. His reign is mostly known through the works of later historians and chroniclers who focused on the broader context of the crisis of the 3rd century, in which the struggles for the throne and the instability of the empire were major themes. Given the scarcity of sources and the brevity of his reign, Quintillus's significance is minimal compared to other emperors of the time. However, his brief period of rule does offer insights into the broader political and military chaos of the 3rd century. The fact that his reign was so short and quickly overshadowed by Aurelian's successful consolidation of power serves as a reflection of the challenges faced by many emperors during the period, who had to contend with both internal and external pressures on their authority. In terms of historical sources, Quintillus is mentioned briefly in the writings of historians such as Zosimus, Eutropius, and the author of the Historia Augusta, though these accounts are often fragmentary and sometimes contradictory. The lack of substantial material on Quintillus means that much of his life and reign is lost to history, with the little that is known mostly focusing on the political context in which he briefly rose to power. The history of Quintillus as Emperor of Rome is one of brevity and obscurity. His reign, lasting only a few months, is a testament to the instability and rapid turnover of leadership that characterized the crisis of the 3rd century. Quintillus's claim to the throne was undermined by a lack of widespread support, and his failure to consolidate power in the face of military challenges ultimately led to his downfall. His brief attempt to rule the Roman Empire was quickly eclipsed by the rise of Aurelian, who would go on to restore stability to the empire. While Quintillus's reign did not have a lasting impact on the course of Roman history, it provides a glimpse into the chaotic and volatile political environment of the 3rd century. His story, like many others from this tumultuous period, is one of fleeting ambition and the impermanence of power in a time when the empire was frequently torn by civil strife and external threats. Quintillus remains a relatively obscure figure in Roman history, but his brief reign serves as a reminder of the fragility of imperial authority during one of the most unstable periods in the history of the Roman Empire.